Albert Suarez struggling. Who does that open the door for in long relief? Grayson Rodriguez. He also struggling a little bit today. Is he still the Orioles' number one starter or number two starter? Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. I'm Jon Leiberman. This is Orioles Digest. Please like, subscribe, do all the things. We're on top of everything Orioles this season. This, my friends, is dirt from Oriole Park at Camden Yards on the 30th anniversary 2022. What has never happened on this dirt? A world championship. That's what hasn't happened at Camden Yards, and that's what we're hoping for this year, is to bring the World Series back to Baltimore. Let's start with the very latest. A bit of concerning news, but look, it is spring training, so let me set this up with that. Number one, it is spring training. Number two, and this is very important, we're going to get to the velocity in a second and get to Cade in a second. Number two is Grayson Rodriguez said after his last start that he's not necessarily going for velocity this time of year right now. So with that as the background, let's break down his start today, which was less than impressive, especially because I believe the Orioles brass were hoping to see Grayson for 2 to 3 innings today. Instead, he didn't get out of the second inning. You can see the line here. An inning and a third, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, a walk and a strikeout. On its face, not horrible and not terrific, but it is what it is, an inning and a third with a run. But when you dig a little bit deeper into it, especially when you look at the velocity, Grayson Rodriguez's velocity, this is where things can get a tiny bit concerning. We don't want to overblow it. It's early on in spring training, but the four-seamer was way down, down by almost 3 miles per hour. The curveball also down by 3, the changeup by almost 2, and the slider down. So across all of Grayson's pitches, his velocity was fairly significantly down. So then the question becomes, well, how concerned should we be? And here we're going to look at a tweet from the great Rock Kubatko, who is there covering the O's, and he points out that Vasquez's leadoff double off of Grayson in the second came on an 89.5 mile per hour fastball, and Rodriguez was taken out at 33 pitches with 1 out in the second after he hit Austin Martin. So you have an 89.5 mile per hour fastball, his lowest on the day. Then you have him hitting a batter and then getting yanked. So my question for you is, what do you think of this? And at this point, do you believe on opening day we will see Grayson as the opening day starter or Zach Eflin? Again, there hasn't been huge drama out of Orioles spring training, which is a good thing. And so this is what it is today, Grayson's velocity down. But let's take a look and let's just compare these two guys for a moment. You have Zach Eflin, the 6'6", 30-year-old, pitched 165 last year, 22 homers allowed, K'd 134, and his ERA 3.5. Then you look at Grayson, not too dissimilar with the numbers. The 25-year-old, pitched 116 innings. He allowed 15 dingers, struck out 130, and his ERA hovered, a shade below 4. So my question for all of you, as I stated, is, and we're going to get to Albert Suarez in a second. He's struggling this spring as well. My question, do you want to see Grayson as your opening day starter, or do you want to see Zach Eflin as your opening day starter? Please comment in the comments. Let me know. Let's have a discussion. But for now, put Grayson to the side. This just happened a bit ago. The velocity down, not good control either, and that was his outing. Moving on, though, there is a bit of cause for concern over this man, Albert Suarez. He's had a rough spring so far. I don't want to take anything away from Suarez. He was amazing last year, particularly in the first half of the year. He was absolutely amazing. He did trail off a bit in the second half of the year, but Brandon Hyde has made it clear that in his mind, Albert Suarez and then Cade Povich are essentially his sixth and seventh starters, right? So you would assume at the beginning of the season that means that one or both of them is coming out of the bullpen in long relief. So if that's the theory there, if Suarez continues struggling, who has the most to gain, my friends? And we talked about Cade Povich, but I'll tell you also, Brandon Young is waiting in the wings, as is Roansy Contreras as well. So if you start with Brandon Young, this is a guy who is a big-time, strikeout pitcher. He only pitched 40 innings in 2023, rehabbed his elbow, but then he bounced back. His fastball was between 92 and 95. He struck out 132 hitters in 111 innings last year, including nearly 100 Ks across 89 innings in Norfolk. So that's Brandon Young. Brandon Young is a very impressive, homegrown pitcher. I expect huge things out of Brandon Young. I don't know if this means he's going to be in long relief to start the season. I think it depends on how much Suarez struggles. I think it depends on the health overall of the staff. But this is a guy to watch, and he is going to be a bona fide major leaguer. The other guy, though, to keep an eye on, I've said this, is Roansy Contreras. He's out of options, so will he be here in 3 weeks? We don't know. But what we do know is he's on the 40-man. He's looked really good. He's got that mid-90s fastball, and he has that slider that is 107 stuff plus rating per Fangraphs, which is way above average. So Roansy Contreras is another guy to keep your eye on as well. So Suarez is struggling. What does that mean to you, if anything? Does that mean that we should be considering somebody else for long relief? And if so, is that somebody in your mind, somebody I just mentioned? And number two, of course, Grayson Rodriguez, did not have the day that he was hoping for. But again, this is spring training. Let's just hope he's healthy. Let's hope the velo decrease has nothing to do with health, because whether Grayson starts on opening day or is the second starter, he is a key. As high as Grayson can go is as high as this team can go. I'm Jon Leiberman. This is Orioles Digest, and I'll see you next time.